So there's been something I've kind of wanted to talk about for a while now, but I wasn't really sure how to put it into the context of a video. So we'll start at the first place. So basically, I stress fractured my third metatarsal, which is this lovely thing right here. So basically, it happened about 2 weeks prior to when I actually got checked out, which was Wednesday, the last Wednesday in July is when I had that looked at. And the stress fracture means that it's not an acute fracture, meaning that it happened over time, that the repeated pressure of that part of my foot bone hitting the ground again and again. And yeah, again, to think about it, if my hand is a foot, right here is where the most pressure is when you walk, when your foot rolls. That's right where it fractured, the stress fracture was right there on the third metatarsal, so my third toe. So the pain had been getting extensively worse every time I was playing on it, so eventually I got checked out. And so then now I'm in this Aircast for 6 weeks, which I was less than thrilled about. This was literally right before my big planned soccer tournament. There's this huge soccer tournament in Kamloops. I had been excited for it for months. I had been planning to go for it for like a year. I had all my friends going. I had recruited a bunch of people. I just devoted a lot of time and energy to it. And so I did go on the trip. I had a lot of fun. There was a lot of bad things that actually happened on the way there that I wasn't planning on, like my car breaking down and stuff like that. I didn't get to play. I took photos, I watched, I still had fun, but it's still I'd be watching a play on the field. I'd be like, oh, if only I was there, or if only I could have been a part of that game. So there definitely was some tugging at my heartstrings, but the effect that this Aircast has had on me hasn't really become apparent until now. And the reason for that is it's like if you take an image, right? And saturation is like how much color is in the photo, right? For me, it's like the saturation in my image has been decreased. So I can still see all the colors and everything, but it's just not as vibrant and bright as it was before. And I'm having a hard time being the best that I can be. In another video, I had talked about, you shouldn't just survive, you should flourish. That, it's not good enough to just exist and to, get by. Is that you have to excel, you have to succeed, you have to exceed, you have to go beyond. And right now, I'm definitely not going beyond, because one of the key aspects and parts of my identity and who I am is the soccer player, the guy who's running around, the guy who's doing all this activity. On any given week, I'd probably get probably at least 6 hours of cardiovascular activity, and now I'm getting none. And I'm still able to walk around on this thing, but definitely not breaking a sweat. I'm still going to the gym. I try to turn this into a positive thing. I said, okay, well, I'm out for 6 weeks, so I'm going to bulk for 6 weeks. So I bought some mass gainer, and I'm taking that, and I'm gaining weight again. And I can still go to the gym. I just can't work on my legs. I can work on my chest and my shoulders and my back and my arms and my hamstrings a little bit, but I can't really work on my legs. So it's not really a completely balanced workout. No doubt, once I get this thing off, it's going to be a rehabilitation period, but my day-to-day life, I'm not on top of all the things that I should be. It's so hard to find motivation. I'm really just, I wouldn't say going through the motions, but I'm getting the essentials done, and then everything else is just kind of fades to gray. It doesn't matter. I have to do things like wash my sheets or wash all my laundry, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people usually put that kind of stuff off, but just I'm not operating at maximum capacity, and it feels good to get this off my chest, because obviously everybody is concerned about the physical aspect of this injury, but there's definitely a mental aspect, and I don't feel like I've had the right forum to express that. And this is cathartic for me. This helps me getting this out there because, I'm trying to battle this. I'm trying to, be as good as I can be. But it's so hard. And especially when you have this thing, it's such a hassle to get around. Like, when you're being a busybody, you're running around from place to place. You're doing thing. You're here, there, and everywhere. When you got this thing on, you need to make deliberate trips to places because it's just so annoying to wear. I even have to wear this thing when I sleep. It's like, it really sucks, and it's sweaty, and it smells, and like I'm completely ripping up the plastic on the tip of it. Like the plastic on the end of it is just getting completely ripped up. Not to mention the fact that I'm walking around in this thing all day, and then I'm wearing it to my bed, and I try to keep my foot off the end of the bed, and because I'm so tall, my foot basically does stay off the end of the bed, but I don't even know how dirty this thing is, and I'm wearing it in my bed, and it's like, what? But I have to deal with it. So, and the funny thing was that when I first got this injury, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a real talk video, and you know what my real talk video is going to be about? It's going to be about dealing with injury, with coming back from setbacks. And I was planning to make this big inspirational video where I lay down all these like well constructed sentences about how I dealt with injury and got past it. Well, I'm definitely not past it yet, and I wouldn't say I'm depressed, definitely not depressed, but I'm definitely below average, and it sucks. And I guess I'm gonna get through it. But one of the other things that's scary to me, very, very scary, is these Aircasts. Apparently, when you get them, the doctor or the nurse or whoever tells you how much pressure you're supposed to put on your foot. So they'll say, okay, well, you can't put any pressure on that for 2 weeks. So you have to be in full crutches for 2 weeks. And then they'll be like, okay, after 2 weeks of full crutches, then you do 1 week of one crutch, and then you can have 1 week of walking on it. Is typically how these things go. This is what my internet research has taught me. Nobody at the clinic that I went to told me anything about pressure. Nobody told me anything. So literally the first weekend that I had this thing, I'm in freaking Kamloops, walking 25,000 steps a day, walking up motherfucking giant hills and shit. Like, we're talking huge hills. Like, Kamloops is like hillier than San Francisco, I swear. It's bad. So I've been getting an insane amount of mileage on this thing, and for all I know, I'm jeopardizing my healing process, right? I'm supposed to get another x-ray after 6 weeks, and at that point the doctor will say, okay, well, you can start not wearing this, or you're going to need to keep wearing this. And for me, that's very scary, and I'm definitely fighting a battle. It's a teeter-totter, right? And I'm trying to keep the positive end up and keep the productivity up. But the longer this thing goes on for, and whatever, it weighs on me. It weighs. I'm still trying to be involved in soccer, right? I'm still managing my team. I go watch the soccer games I can't play, but it's just things have been going to shit, especially on my men's team. It's really hard to stay positive. It's really tempting just to sit in my basement and watch Netflix all day. But I actually need to go make money, because otherwise I'll have crippling debt, because I finally enrolled in classes again. So let's go. 5th year university. Woo! Okay.